Hello and welcome to this class on PTSD, toxic stress, neuroplasticity, anxiety and depression, and clinical interventions. My name is Lauren Andrews. I'm a psychotherapist and a licensed clinical social worker, and I am your instructor for this course. This course will explore the human being's natural responses to stress and how those responses become clinical anxiety and depression. A key part of that exploration is the evidence, now heavily supported by science, that the brain changes in response to both stress and treatment. Ultimately, this is a message of understanding, hope, renewal, and significant change for our clients, and I look forward to our work together. Starting off here, this is all about discovery. And the major discovery I want to mention to you is that psychotherapists and scientists need to work together to discover what's going on and what works best. In other words, we as therapists need to use our skills to help people in the moment and over time. And we need to rely sometimes on direct science and evidence, like we will in this class, to help our clients better. And scientists need to work with us to understand what people are talking about, what they're actually going through, how they make change, how they understand things. We need to work together, and I hope that we do and we can to help our clients heal and feel better. Next, I want to talk about the basic ideas, the concepts, the foundation of this course, which, first of all, emotions are biologically based. They are biologically based means they don't happen out of nowhere. They come from somewhere. They are happening because of what's happening in our brain and our body. And then when we tell people that and they help them understand what's going on, it takes away that idea that there's something scary and awful happening. Nope, things are happening for a reason. We tell them why. There's nothing wrong with anything you feel. And there's nothing wrong with you for what you're feeling. That's a big part of the message for people when we tell them this. Next is PTSD, toxic stress, or both. It's the understanding that PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, is its own diagnosis, and we have that diagnosis and we utilize it. Toxic stress is different. They're both fear responses biologically, but they're different, and they have different effects on the brain, the body, and the self. And we can understand that and help our clients understand that, and it really helps in their healing and discovery and feeling better. And a lot of people, of course, have both. They've experienced both PTSD and toxic stress, and we can help them understand that and treat both of them. Big Amy and Small Hippo, those are nicknames I developed a long time ago. We'll talk about in this class many, many times, but I use that in talking with my clients all the time about their condition and what's going on and what we're treating, and they really get it. They get that much better than sort of like the clinical names of amygdala and hippocampus and stuff like that. Next is generalized or situational, talking with our clients, understanding the difference between a generalized anxiety disorder and a situational, like a specific one, or a generalized depression, which I'll talk about more here, or situational, which is really common. But those are two different things to understand for your clients and what's going on and help them to understand things. And last is 3 interventions. There are 3 interventions I'll talk about today and other times about how to intervene for our clients and help them through brain health and psychological health and relational health. Next, I want to stress that there's an art and a science to mental health. And using them both as psychotherapists is what we need to do for our clients to help them best. There are three parts of this art and science I want to emphasize. And one is experience. All the experiences you have now, you're getting now, you will be getting, you'll be applying those in your work with your clients, the experiences that we utilize in the clinical application. The next is the evidence, the scientific research, the evidence from science, which is key to this class and for you to understand these concepts to help your clients the most. The evidence, and the evidence you get anywhere in life about anything to help your clients, the evidence. And the third thing is, and people don't talk about an awful lot, is evolution or natural selection. Evolution shapes everything about us, and it has for like 2 million years. I'll just cut that line there in terms of our ancestors. But for 2 million years, evolution has just designed and sculpted and shaped just about everything. And to understand the principles of evolution help us actually understand our clients and helping them understand themselves. And I do want to add that there's a scientist, a founding scientist in evolution and biology, named is Theodosius Dobzhansky, if I'm saying that right. And he said, nothing in biology makes sense except in the light of evolution, which is true. And we can utilize that also for psychotherapy, psychology, and mental health. It helps our clients understand, like, oh, that's why I'm feeling the way you do. That's right. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the feeling. We have that because of evolution or success and survival. Now I just want to just briefly mention, again, there's 3 interventions. We'll talk about them in this class a lot. In the second half of the class, there's brain health, or that big Amy small hippo idea, what's going on, neuroplasticity, how we help our clients treat that through some of the beliefs and behaviors they can change, which is psychological health. And that is next, all about beliefs and behaviors and self-concept and self-esteem. And then lastly is relational health. Again, what kind of caring and healthy relationships do your clients have? Are they surrounded by them or lacking them? It really matters to their overall mental health and their ability to make change and heal and feel better. So all 3 interventions are equally important to our clients doing better from treatment. Ours with doctors, medical professionals, anyone else. The next thing I want to mention are misunderstandings. Going into this class, there are a lot of misunderstandings that are out there in the mass media and the press and everywhere else, and between people just chatting about things. And there are things we need to know are misunderstandings. So the first one is anxiety and depression are character weaknesses. No, they are not. Anxiety and depression happen as responses to their environments. Anxiety happens because something happens that is really, really scary. There's a traumatic fear, a persistent fear, and then anxiety occurs. Same thing is true for depression. Happens for a reason, is telling our clients there's something really missing, really lacking, or they lost something tremendously, including just like purpose and meaning in life, and that can lead to depression. And those feelings are there to tell our clients something. Trauma causes irreparable damage. No, it does not. It certainly does change the brain. Mostly, actually, toxic stress changes the brain. But usually people are talking about trauma, not toxic stress, and we should talk about both. But it does not cause irreparable damage. It can be reversed through treatment, which is what this class is all about, especially toxic stress and trauma, but toxic stress specifically. Anxiety and depression do not serve a purpose. Yeah, like I just said, they do. Feeling fear serves a purpose. Feeling sadness serves a purpose. Feeling joy and happiness serves a purpose. Feeling anger serves a purpose. They all serve a purpose, and they are not purposeless. They happen for reasons. The next thing is antidepressants balance brain chemistry. Nope, they do not. I've never seen anything in the science ever, and I've gone looking for it. A lot of people talk about it, people writing news articles and everything, but it's just not true. I've never seen it true. What antidepressants do, or selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which are serotonin-based medications, what they do is they shrink the amygdala if it got really large from toxic stress, or grows the hippocampus if it got really small from toxic stress. They do that, and they really do an amazing job if it is diagnosed, if it is something that a doctor or medical professional chooses to do with your client. But anyway, antidepressants do not balance brain chemistry. The next thing to know is that the misunderstanding, is our brains cannot grow new neurons. Yes, they can. They do all the time. I had no idea until like 7 or 8 years ago that that's the case. I thought we're born with the brain, with the nerve cells, the neurons that we have, and then they start dying off or whatever. Not true. There are parts of the brain, including the hippocampus, where they're grown every day, unless they get blocked. Longer story, we'll talk about it later. But our brain does grow new neurons, and for really, really good reasons: evolution, success and survival, and all that jazz. This slide is all about the 2 big nicknames and concepts you're going to hear a lot about, but it helps you remember, and if you choose to use them, it helps your clients remember as to what's going on, and that is big Amy and small hippo. An enlarged, really active amygdala or an atrophied, shrunken hippocampus. Big Amy, small hippo. Like almost every presentation I do, lecture, it'll have that in there to help you remember. And again, if you choose to help your clients remember what has happened to them, what they're treating, etc. Now, in this slide, I want to just go through the different sections and presentations and what I'll be covering that relate to the concepts, the founding concepts from before in this presentation. But first is primary emotions. I'll talk about the fact that I do believe very strongly that not only are emotions are biologically based, I think that's irrefutable, but are there in 4 categories of joy, fear, anger, and sadness. I'm going to talk about that. And after that, they're socially constructed. But it's an important part of understanding what's going on for your clients, or primary emotions, and that they're biologically based. The next thing I'll be talking about in a module is PTSD. So PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, that is a very unique experience. It's from a terrifying event. Some people have several of them, but it's from a traumatic event, because the next one is toxic stress. It's a whole module and presentation on that, and a whole lot of supporting materials, because toxic stress is living in constant fear. PTSD is a traumatically fearful event. Toxic stress is living in constant fear, like fear of violence at home, fear of you can't pay your bills, fear of failure in any way. If it's daily, constantly for like more than a year or something, that's toxic stress. Neuroplasticity is the brain changes. It changes. We're going to talk about that and how we treat changed brains, like in terms of Big Amy and Small Hippo, and what treatments work for that, and how we help our clients heal and get better and feel better. The next is differential diagnostics, with generalized versus situational, the different diagnoses that are in the DSM, the things you want to help your clients understand differentially, like, oh, you've got a lot of, like, the most common thing I see is generalized anxiety from a Big Amy, and then that's depressing to live with. So they've got depression to go with it. That's the most common thing I ever see, is that combination. So it's a differential diagnostics for you to understand, and then to articulate to your clients so they understand what's going on, and then how you're going to treat that and change that. And we change that through clinical interventions. Again, brain health, psychological health, relational health. We'll be talking about that in this class. And they're all 3 typically important. All 3, especially when you got a Big Amy and Small Hippo, that brain health is really important. But there are other ways to improve brain health as well that we'll talk about. So that's the end of this presentation and lecture for this week. I welcome you to this class, what you're going to be learning. I hope you enjoy what you're learning, but I feel confident that it's going to be really helpful in your clinical career. So see you in the next lecture. See you then. Take care.